Hey guys, welcome. I've fussy cut all these flowers, and in fact, crazily enough, they're not all the flowers that I printed from Deb's printables that we get for being a subscriber of the Kitaholic Kits. But I'm going to dive into this February kit and use these flowers and this crazy photo of myself. Now I do pull out this pattern paper, and it's the right pinks and maroons for the most of the flowers that I've got pulled here. I do end up leaving those little minty blue tealy flowers to the side and just focusing more on the coral peach pink maroon ones. Anyway, I thought I would add the paper here and that I would layer photos down the join of it. So I've pulled out the flowers, and I'm thinking this is where I pull back and say, no, I don't really want the blue. But I do then pull out my water brush markers, watercolour markers that we got from Vicky Buden in the mixed media kit, and I'm pulling out the cherry tart, the coral macaroon, and the cotton candy, and I'm going to make a mixed media background and have fun doing so. So pulling out some paper towel and my water brush, so just adding some water, smushing the water around. I haven't gessoed the page or anything, and I'm just going to start with the cherry tart. Start with the brightest of the colours and lead down to the lightest as we go down the page. Now, just using my watercolour brush to spread out the colour and adding a bit more of the colour with the watercolour markers, just so I can get some brightness happening. Woo! There we go. Now, I don't want it to look like I've painted it on there and have all these strikes or streaks and things like this, so I'm just being very mindful about how the colour's moving and making it, just having a play. I use my finger to smush the edges, moving the paper up and down, and you can see the colour moving. So I'm going to use the heat gun. Now I'm going to keep the heat gun sections in, but I've sped up the heat gun super fast, because as you can see, it moves the colour around, and drying sections of it and then rolling the colour by moving the paper adds different layers to the colour. So you'll see as it dries that there's pools of colours that it's like water puddles drying. So there's different layers to the colours and different colours, tones and whatnot. So it's really just really fun. One, it's fun to do, but two, it looks really fun as a background. So I'm going to work now with the coral macaroon colour, just using my water spray bottle to get a lot more colour on there. I was getting a bit impatient with my water brush, and look at that colour. Woo! So you just have to add a drop, and then the pooled water spreads the colour. It's so fun. But you can see here, just having fun with moving it, using my brush if I want it to go in a bit more area, and leave it for a moment so that the colour soaks in, and before you start using your heat gun. But once again, as you're using your heat gun, dry sections and then move the paint over, dry around and move it and roll it and push it around with the air, push it around by moving the paper, and just have fun that way. And you'll see how much colour it leaves and how much fun it looks as it dries, and how you move it to make all this fun texture. Oh, it just looks like texture and layers on the paper, but really you've just used one section. You could totally put some on, use paper towel, dry it, add another layer, do it again, and that could get the same kind of effect. But this is just more simple, and you're not wasting colour by soaking it up on paper towel. So look at all those areas of tone on tone and how just really pretty it looks. Now remember, when you're using a heat gun, not to hold it in one spot, that you are brushing it, waving it around on your paper, not too close that you cause a fire, that you make your paper smoke, anything like that, because it gets quite warm. So just remember that it is a dangerous tool. It has potential to catch on fire, or make things catch on fire, so just be careful. So you see how just lovely it looks, and so there's a lot of colour in this section here where I'm drying. But oh, look at it, it's just so pretty. I want to do this technique again. I think it'd be nice to do like a rainbow across the 12 by 12. And I don't know if I mentioned this is a 9 by 12 layout, so you can see it's smaller than a 12 by 12, but it's a 9 by 12. So getting out the cotton candy, and it's so bright and lovely. Adding the colour around, I sprayed on the water, adding a bit more water with my water brush, and just smushing it around. Woo! It's just so much fun. And you don't need much of the watercolour from the markers, so just be mindful that you're not going crazy and wasting all your colour. Just a little bit. Use your water to make it go further. You can see here I'm just going to put the colour down further, and you can see it dries light over top of the other colours that are already previous there. It's just really fun to have that different tone and it blends in that way, because it's not just, it wasn't blending as nicely as the other two colours. The other two colours were very close in tone, and this was much more brighter in pink. So by making it roll down the page so that it blended further in, it just wasn't an afterthought, it was around. So it's a bit of the pink, that cotton candy that smushed off as I picked up the paper, so I'm just using that. It did water down really quickly because of my water brush, but just adding a little bit of splatters. Now here's where I'm trying to work out where I'm going. So I love this mixed media background. I don't want to cover very much of it, but I do want to use these flowers. This was the whole idea. So I'm going to think about how that's going to work. So I thought that would be cool, but then it'd be really cool to have a title up the right side there. But at the moment I don't know what that title would be. The thickers that we got in the kit wouldn't work for that layout. So you can see here I just double check, but I could definitely pull out some thickers from my stash for one layout. But instead I just work on the photo, on the flowers, and then it all comes together. So if you're not sure about everything but you're sure about something, just go with that something and the rest will work out. So I've glued down the photo, and then I'm just putting a little bit of glue in the middle of each of these flowers. I'm bending up the petals so that there's a bit of dimension to it. Some of them I'm layering on top of each other. Some of them I'm putting vellum on top. Other times vellum's just by itself. And I'm just having fun, not thinking about it too much. Some colours are next to each other, some are a bit further away. It's just getting all those colours on there and all these little flowers on there in a way that looks appealing. So I did speed this up very fast, but I wanted to show you how it came together, because it's just fun. I like to watch these kind of things, how it just comes together. Obviously not in slow motion, but doing it in this sped up way means that I can see how things are placed, that and have an idea if I do want to create it for myself. So you can see here it just looks really nice. The colours are going really well. I think there's a couple of colours. There's a maroon, a light pink, a darker pink, which is not really dark, and then an orangey coral peachy colour. So it's a good combination of the four colours, and they don't all stand out. So now I've glued down that paper. For some reason in the editing it keeps pulling out that piece. So I just pulled out my photo, because obviously I did glue it down, and then I've stuck down that pattern paper, and then I've stuck down that conversation heart too that says XOXO, and I actually put that one up on Fun Foam. And then I'm just layering some more hearts. I did have to pull a few more out to fussy cut, but you can see how quick it is to fussy cut them. Doesn't take much at all. Now I'm just using the edge of the paper to blend in, so around the photo, but down, up both sides, above it and below it and next to it, so that there is it is connected rather than just one part here and one part there. And you can see I put a lot on there, but that is the fun thing about something like this. The printables mean that I could print as many as I like, and if I want them for another layout later, although I do already have some printed already, but if I wanted more and I hadn't, then I can go back and print some again. So that really simple. Now I've got all those vellum pieces, all those other cardstock ones. Now this is where I realise it needs a bit of the maroon colour on the mixed media area. So I pull out the Dina Wakley fuchsia, and I quickly cover up my photo before it gets paint all over it. But you see, I just watered it down slightly, and then I'm just using my brush to put some ink splatters on, and that just ties it in really nicely. I could have, when I was making the layout, if I had an idea that's what I was going to do, I could have used it watered down just like I did the other colours, and made it move around my page and blend in. But I like the subtleness of it, that is enough to tie it in but also not overwhelm that left side. So I was watching a video, and I can't remember what was happening, but something was happening, and I put glue on the wrong photo, on the wrong butterfly. It was on the green one, not the orange one, and obviously I don't have any green on this layout. I totally could have put green on there. There was those flowers, but there was also green leaves. There's a lot of green in the kit, which is lovely, but it just wasn't the way it was going. So I pull out this orange butterfly as well from the sticker sheet, and I put on that black circle love down with that conversation heart, and that maroon love heart up the top there. So this is where my clusters are going to go. And I pull out this sticker with this phrase on it, and that's going to be my title. I really like it. It's kind of a bit ironic that my face is like, self-care. Oh my gosh, how do I do that kind of thing? But it is very important. So just going to move those butterflies around, just so that they are in a good spot now that I've found that title. And then I'm going to add some of the sequins. Now, I do see if those wood veneer leaves are going to work, but they're not going to work. They're too chunky for what's going on. So on goes some of the sequins. Now, they have some of the bigger ones that are like embossed and pink, like metallic-y pink. Now, I have to bend them a little. They're a little bit bent to lay flat onto a layout, but once they're just squished and bent the right way, it makes it flatter so that they will work. But just have a little play with them. If you're just using them as a sequin mix to be in like a shaker, it wouldn't even matter. But just because I wanted to glue them down, just going to use some of the pink ones and then some of the white ones as well, just to have a little bit of fun popping out from little bits like the little clusters. So that cluster up the top, I do it at the bottom there, not a cluster there, but it's the end of the flowers. So I thought it might be nice to have a little bit of sprinkling things there. And it just works really well. So just finishing off with the finishing touches, I finished with the sequins, and I'm just going to work out that this orange vellum butterfly that I printed as well is going to be the third butterfly. So that rule of threes again, because I can. And I'm just going to put that onto the conversation heart. And that's going to be my layout. Hopefully you've enjoyed the way it's come together today. Oh, sorry, and I do add just a couple of little white glittery enamel dots that we also got in the kit. But here are the close-ups, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video today and feel inspired to get creating. Hopefully you've enjoyed your printables that Deb's worked so hard on to get us as exclusives, and you are enjoying your February kit. Have a good day, guys. Bye.